Ciao famiglia, welcome to another YouTube video. And in this video, of course you can tell from the title, we are going to be talking about muscle imbalances, aka when you have one side bigger than the other or stronger than the other. If you ever notice sometimes that you can have one leg smaller or bigger or stronger than the other, this is what we're going to be talking about in this video. Before we start, as always, familia, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any useful content from me. And also, as a reminder, if you want me to teach you one-on-one, step-by-step, what you need to do, what you need to eat, what you need to do in order to achieve that particular goal of yours, link down below for online coaching. Now, I want you to actually take a look at me for a second, okay? I'm going to turn around and you're going to notice that one side is actually, one trap is actually higher than the other. I want to stand straight. I don't know if you can notice. Can you see that this trap is slightly taller than this? Let me just get the hair out of the way. David, can you see it? Turn around as well in case you can see it from there. Okay. In my case, this is actually a case of a mild scoliosis. Yes, I do have a mild scoliosis. How did I have this? I had it since I was younger, and I used to have it for years. I always had it kind of thing. And it happens with our daily habits, like, for example, carrying one-side bags or even carrying heavy things on one side more than the other, leaning too forward, leaning on our phone. It can really affect our posture, okay? So that is one of the things and one of the reasons why, for example, I've got one side stronger than the other, because it's due to a mild scoliosis. How I found out, I went to a chiropractor once and I got a scan of my spine. And that's how it basically happened. They told me, and there you go. But some people, you might just not have that at all, okay? Let's say you're fine. You don't have any posture imbalances or anything like that. However, you do have one side that you feel like is stronger or smaller than the other. How do we fix it? Training and exercises can actually have a huge impact on, as well, your posture, as well as fixing imbalances. And I'll show you what to do for your upper body, like what I do myself, and helps with straightening up my upper body as well, and my spine, and also for your bunda and legs. Let's go. Hello, cheeky monkeys. So what I'm doing here is basically, David is absolutely shaking his head at me, but can't help it sometimes, guys, sorry. But what I normally do, I like to do dead hangs, which are great actually to help improve your posture, also helps you with your grip. But do you remember when I said it can help you straighten up your spine a little bit and help you out with achieving a better posture overall? So all you have to do is literally just hang for as long as you can, okay? Like so. For as long as you can. And then obviously when you finish, you just take a bit of a break, like a minute rest, and do it again. You can do it 3 times, and it's good to do it 3 times a week. So you can do it at the end of your workout, for example, or at the beginning. I actually recommend doing it at the end so that you can get your actual proper workouts first done, and then this you can do it as at the end for your spine and for your posture as well. Now, let's talk about what we can actually do in terms of exercises. The best thing that you can do to fix imbalances is to do unilateral exercises. What the hell are unilateral exercises? So, let's take into account a squat, right? Or better, RDL. Got the bar over here. Okay? If I do a normal Romanian deadlift, like this one, okay? In this case, both of my feet are on the floor, okay? As you can see over here. Now, unilateral exercise is that exercise that you only recruit one side at a time. So in this case, instead of doing a Romanian deadlift like that, could, for example, do a distance one, where basically I focus just on one leg per time. So let me just do this, how it would result. Like so. Now, another very important thing, especially if you struggle with a little scoliosis, like that, when one side is slightly higher or stronger than the other, you have one shoulder. One thing that I want you to notice is that some people prefer when they deadlift, Romanian deadlift, sumo deadlift, or pick up weight in general, they do an inverted grip, like so. You see that I picked up the barbell like that, okay? And this is actually not optimal if you struggle with one shoulder bigger than the other, because what we will do, when you put the hand that basically is inverted, like that, is gonna be automatically lower, okay? So basically you're reinforcing your scoliosis that way, basically. It's not optimal. And I'm choosing words that obviously are mostly understandable by you, but the concept is that you shouldn't be doing inverted grip if you suffer from scoliosis or one side of your shoulders is higher than the other or anything like that, okay? Try to always do and use the same grip. So like that, for example, okay? This will help even out the sides without having to have one side lower than the other, okay? So that's very, very important. Now, let's take into account other exercises. Let's talk about upper body first, and then we'll shift to what to do for your legs. Let me grab some dumbbells. Let's start addressing our biceps, okay? If you feel one side is bigger than the other, let's say your bicep is bigger or slightly stronger than the other, what do? An exercise like a bicep curl, you want to obviously, it's one arm at a time. You can't do them both together. Pick an alternative, maybe just do one arm first and then do the other so that it's easier for you to count. And start with the weaker side. So let's say that this is the weakest arm and this is the strongest arm. I'm gonna start with this one first, okay? And if in my program I decide to do 10 reps, okay? I will do 12, 13 here and 10 here. So I'll do more reps on the weakest side, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, or 13, or whatever, and here, I only do 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. So this is how we address a certain muscle in our body. Now let's say it's our shoulder. Shoulders, of course, we addressed them before. Make sure that you watch out in terms of the inverted grips that you use. Try and do for your back dead hangs, but also, for example, a normal shoulder press, okay? Normally, let's just go sit down, actually. So now let's talk about, obviously, shoulder press for your shoulders. Let's say the one shoulder is also bigger than the other. Obviously, the first thing that you need to do, watch out any inverted grip that we talked about before. But let's take into account an exercise that is the shoulder press, right? That's one of the staples for shoulders, okay? So instead of doing both arms at the same time, try to maybe focus on one arm first. So hold the dumbbell on one side, and on the weakest side, you will do, again, more reps, okay? Okay, so you could do, for example, again, the same thing on the weakest side. You start on the weakest side and you can do 12 reps or 13, and on the strong side, you can just do 10, okay? For me, for our back, instead we'll be taking into account the seated row, and you will probably notice that usually this is the kind of attachment people use on this, okay, which is amazing, perfect. But let's say you've got a muscle imbalance that you want to treat, or you want to target, just use a handle like this, and what you will do again, one arm at a time. We start with the weakest side and do more reps on that side, okay? Keeping your back nice and straight and upright, pulling this towards the side of your stomach, and do again more reps here than there. Now onto legs. Obviously we want to know about the bunda, for example, and why one cheek is bigger than the other. Same principle applies. You need to include unilateral exercises. Let's say that this leg, my left leg, is smaller, my left cheek or left leg is, this side is weaker and smaller than this. What do? I pick a unilateral exercise, which by the way, my personal favorite that I'm gonna show you now. I do this every week just because it's really good for your core as well. It's good to also help you with your balance, because you will struggle with balance when you do this, by the way. It's completely normal when you do it because it is just a balance exercise, if it makes sense, and I love it because it challenges me. But it's a variation of a deficit lunge or Bulgarian split squat, however you want to call it, but it's a deficit. What does it mean? I'm adding a weight over here, plate, that is elevating me slightly. So that means that my starting position is higher than my lower and ending position, okay? Like that, okay? So obviously if I do it from the floor, they're basically equal. But I like to add this to increase slightly the range of motion and tear those muscles even more, aka more gains. So I actually love it myself personally. To increase even the range of motion even more. So how do we do it? I'll do it without the bar first, okay? So you have your foot on top of your plate. You want to lean forward and descend into a lunge position and come back. Now, one mistake that people make in terms of lunging that's really important is that when they lunge, they kind of try to get their foot almost behind the other. No, the wider stance you get, the better, because what's your natural state? Just basically hips width apart, just exactly like that. If you put your foot under or hiding it from the other leg, it's not natural, so you'll just lose more balance. So try just to keep a normal stance like you would when you're walking, for example, and just start from there. Okay, so now doing it with the bar, of course you'll add weight as well. Don't go too heavy when you do this at the beginning because it's very challenging, I'm telling you, and even I still struggle with it in terms of the balance. But what I do, I simply lean slightly forward, go down, and return. So as I said, I'll do more reps on the weakest side. I start with the weakest side and do more reps there. Now, if you, for some reason, you don't like this exercise, you don't have to do this variation. There's so many different variations that you can do there unilateral. Any unilateral exercise can help you, okay? I'll show you a couple of more unilateral exercises just to give you the idea, but honestly, any single leg exercise that you do will do. Let's go. Okay, so for me, this is the next exercise. It's one of my favorites. It's a great isolation exercise. I've showed you in many of my other tutorials, but it counts as a unilateral exercise as well, doesn't it? With being more glute focused. So while the deficit lunge that I showed you obviously is a compound exercise, so it both targets your glutes and legs, this is slightly more glute focused, okay? So it's great if you particularly want to focus on an imbalance that you have on your glutes more, okay? So I particularly do this every single time I do legs at the end, just because isolation exercises are easier to perform, you don't use the same weight, so just try to do this at the end of the workout, okay? As always, we will start with the weakest leg. Let's pretend that this is my weakest leg, and we will do more reps on this. So 10 on the normal legs and 12 to 13 maybe is even better on the smaller legs and the weaker side, basically. So I like to get on my knees, just position my mats parallel to the cable, okay? Just like to get down on one elbow, other arm slightly straight. Lift the foot and slightly tilt it towards the wall, okay? And kick to the side. Again, as I said before, more reps on the weakest leg, okay? Now, let me show you another leg exercise that is great for muscle imbalances. That is one of my favorites. I'm showing you all my favorites actually, but yeah, you know what I mean. So we all know the leg press. Obviously, you just get both of the feet in it, and you just, the main rule obviously, you never lock your knees at the top. Never do this. Never, your legs should never be completely straight. Always maintain a slight bend the whole time, okay? But how do we make it more unilateral? It's just right what you're thinking. Just one side and do one leg at a time, which is absolutely amazing. This, like, it's so much harder as well. So it's really important that when you do that, you either want to start with no weight, okay? Or you add a really low weight. Don't use the normal amount of weight that you would normally use when you have both of your legs in, okay? And this is one of the greatest exercise. Obviously for glute placement, if you want to target your glutes a little bit more, remember to position your foot higher on the platform and go all the way down, like so, for a better stretch, which actually feels unreal, honestly. This is one of my new favorite ones. But anyway, familia, I hope you kind of understood the concept of what you need to do in order to fix imbalances. I normally try to dedicate 1 day per session. So if I do 3 leg days, one of these will be a unilateral exercise focused workout. Couldn't get my words out for some reason. So I'll do at least one session where I at least do all single leg exercises variations. So it's up to you how you play it out. But remember, if you want me to help you, link below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.